Hello, everyone, and welcome to Chapter 5 of the Bigfoot Diaries, the search for Honobia Sasquatch. This is the one. This is the big one. This is the one where I went and I had just lots of stuff happen. I mean, I had just stuff going on all night. It was crazy, but it was really great day for bigfooting for me. I did. It was actually earlier this year, in February. I decided to go to Hinobia with two of my friends, Ted and Chelsea, and we loaded up and set up camp that day on on the logging road where I usually set up. And there's this one road that leads up to a trail on top of a mountain that I wanted to hit this time. That's kind of where I was when I originally had that rock thrown at me, or at me and my friend Corey, that first trip that we had made. I wanted to walk up. There's actually a road that leads all the way up to that trail that we were on. And I wanted to, go up there at night, check it out, make some sounds and see what happens. So, anyways, once it got dark or near dark, we kind of headed up that road. I kind of drove in, parked, and then we decided to walk the rest of the way up. But from the get-go, I mean, it was just a mountain of activity that night. We walked up the road, and I made a call just to kind of fire off the night. And as we started walking up, less than a few minutes later, I mean, we heard a call coming from the start of the road. And I had driven at least a quarter mile up the road before parking, and a definite howl, was not a coyote, because afterwards, again, some coyotes started yipping after the howl went off. uh, right off the bat. These are some new friends that I had brought. They hadn't been here before. They were kind of skeptical on the subject, especially my friend Chelsea. She was a non-believer. Now she's convinced, but howl right off the bat. Uh, so we kept walking just to kind of keep listening, see what was going on. There was some rustle in the brushing, some rustles in the brush, and there was some deer that were off in the brush. We were right next to a creek bed, and then our other side was kind of like a hill. Uh, a deer did run across the road. There was quite a few deer out there, which is a good sign. Maybe they're being hunted or whatever. But as we kept walking, some more rustling in the brush. Sounded like it was probably a small animal, maybe an armadillo or something. But that, it's a good sign if there's animals out, there's activity, that there's stuff going on. That's a good sign. So we kind of walked towards the top and kind of sat and listened for a little while. Ran into a small bobcat, and made a few calls to kind of conjure, interest in our location. And then we turned around, decided to head back towards the truck, towards the sound of the howl that we heard when we first started walking up. And that's when it got good. We were walking, and I mean, in the brush, definite rock was thrown, and it could hear it crashing through the brush, to the side on the hillside of us, not the creek bed. And um, definite. I mean, it was crazy. It just came out of it was crunching down in the woods, and so we kept on walking. And again, another couple of rocks were thrown. Some gravel hit the back of my shoe. So there was something going on. There was definitely rocks being thrown that night. And so we decided to keep walking. And my friend Ted had been startled. He heard a grunt in the brush. Unfortunately, I did not hear it, because I was trying to focus on listening for rocks. But he said he heard a very low grunt right next to him, which I wouldn't be surprised if there was a Bigfoot kind of hanging right there, as we were coming back down. So he got kind of scared, and me and Chelsea were kind of ready for more action, but we kind of started heading back towards my truck. And that's when we had the another rock thrown at us, and this one came from right behind us. I mean, literally, like, it was thrown really hard, really fast, and it managed to go like right in between me and Chelsea. I mean, it was shoulder high to me. I'm 5'8". Shoulder high to me, came whirling right past me, flew way ahead of us, hit the ground and rolled. I mean, whatever threw that was right behind us. And out there in Oklahoma at night, it's pitch black. You can't see a thing. We had flashlights. I mean, that thing came hurling right past us. And that means whatever was there had to be on the path behind us, because if it was in the creek bed, even though they can be 7, 8 feet tall, the angle at which it would have flown past us wouldn't have been wrong, would have been wrong. It wouldn't have come from the hillside. That's all brush. If it would have come from there, you would hear it crashing through the trees. And again, the angle, it wouldn't have been able to go right through us, like as if someone was directly behind us and threw something. And it must have been quite a ways behind us, because I immediately turned around and shined the light and saw nothing. I feel really bad because I had a video camera. It wasn't on at that moment. I had been filming on and off. The video camera I have was kind of a cheap one. The battery didn't really last that long. It was almost dying, so I didn't have the film on. But I cannot believe that I didn't have the film on. Otherwise, I'd be showing it to you right now. But I mean, both of them at that instant were convinced that I wasn't kidding about everything that happened. I mean, we already heard a howl. We already had some rocks thrown. He heard a grunt. I mean, in this rock, again, amateur mistakes I made this night, but I should have saved the rock that was thrown at us. I should have had the rock in my hands. I mean, I wouldn't have touched it. I had gloves on, but I would have taken it and saved it. Maybe had some fingerprints on it. I don't know, but I should have picked up the rock that was thrown at us. Didn't do it. Amateur mistake. Amateur mistake number 2. Whatever it was right behind us. If it was on the path, in order for it to get off the path, it would have had to make a lot of noise. It would have had to either go in the creek bed and up another hill, or up the hill on the other side. It would have had to make a lot of noise to get away from us quickly, unless it just turned around and ran up the path. But either way, I should have turned around with the flashlight I had and ran up the path and shined it in the creek bed, shined it on the hillside, shined it right behind me. I should have turned around and done it immediately. And, odds are I had turned the video camera on. If I would have just turned around and went and ran up and looked, I mean, I probably could have had video of a Sasquatch right now to show you. I mean, an undeniable video proof. Will not make that mistake again. I'm definitely, when I head up there next time, hopefully sometime soon, I'm definitely going to have a better video camera on me. I'm going to have a spotlight with me, and the second I hear anything, or if something of that nature happens again, there will be film caught. I mean, I'm going to catch this dang thing, if it kills me. So, headed back to the car, but that was just a phenomenal first couple hours there. I mean, just phenomenal amount of activity. The woods were alive that night, and it continued. We went back to our campsite and kind of hung out for a while, had a fire, but then my friend Ted had went to sleep. So me and Chelsea decided to kind of roam around the logging roads ourselves, see what we could find, and we kind of walked a little ways from the camp facing that road that we were just on a little while back, and I started making calls off in that direction. That way anything's in that area, it'll hear me, maybe it'll respond. And there was just howls coming from all over the place that night, all different kinds. There was kind of a faint scream that came off in one direction, then there's kind of like a moany howl that came off in one direction, and then there was just kind of one high-pitched one that was just, it went on for at least an hour on and off. It would howl once or twice, or maybe even 3 times in a row, stop. You could hear it getting closer to our camp. And that's, I kind of went off in the brush, kind of listening, but I didn't, I couldn't hear any like footsteps or anything, but the howl was definite. And I actually did get that howl on video, the one that we kept hearing. And I will have the link in the description. That way you can check it out if you haven't already. But I mean, that was a phenomenal night. That was Friday, February 13th, maybe, I think it was. But I had a good feeling about that night. That area I was in, the Bigfoots that live there just probably happened to be in that area. It was a lot of luck But I mean, just right off the bat, howls, and that rock came right past us. I mean, I'm shocked it didn't hit me. I mean, it was that close, and it was going that fast. If something threw it at us, it had to be directly behind us. It would have had, if it was thrown from about 7, 8 feet tall, then by the time it angled down, it would have been about my shoulder level, 5'8". Lot of stuff happened. I mean, rocks thrown, howls. I mean, the howls were going on pretty much all night, and it was insane. I mean, I had never had so much happen in one night. Again, I amateur mistake. I should have picked up the rock. I should have kept it. I should have turned around immediately once that rock was thrown, and ran up the path. Just whatever it was, it was going to have to run from me if it did not want to be seen. And if it went through the creek side, the hillside, whatever, wherever it went, it had to make noise, and I would have been able to at least shine a light, get some sort of video. Amateur mistake, won't make it again. Like I said, I'm planning on going back soon, and once I do, I'm gonna make sure if I get that lucky again. I mean, that night would have been like a perfect night to prove this thing's existence once and for all. If I get that chance again, which I know I will because I go back there a lot, I've had something happen every time I've been there. But if something on this level happens again, then I'm going to make sure to hunt that thing down and get it on film. The thing is after being in Honobia for so long, after visiting so many times, I know where they're at. I know exactly where they're going to be. I know where they're at. They're constantly in this one location, not always in this one specific area, but they always come back. Like I said, that guy Randy we met, he said that those trash receptacles provide a constant source of food. Maybe that's why they're always there. I don't know, but I know where they're at. Come to find out that this area that I had been searching on, where I had all this activity during hunting seasons, it is actually a hunting lease, not really supposed to be going up there, but I think that's why there's so much activity in that area, because it is a designated hunting ground during periods of the year that there's lots of food. There's constantly deer there and other animals, and that's probably what they feed on, and that's probably why they stay in that specific area. But really great night, a lot of stuff happened. And I wish, whoever listens to this, I really wish you could have been there, because you would have, if believe it or not, you would have left a believer. My friends did. They have no doubt in their mind. I never had a doubt on my mind, but the amount of activity that went down that night was just phenomenal. I mean, howls all night, rocks. It was just one big pot of gold that night. The next, we stayed there 2 nights. The next night, didn't really hear anything. I think I heard one howl the next night, but that was it. It was kind of quiet. Maybe they knew we were human and were onto us, but no matter who you are, no matter what you do, anyone can go bigfooting. There's sightings in all 50 states. There's all kinds of stuff going on. I mean, you just got to look up Bigfoot sightings in your area, or areas, there's big forests and swamps, whatever, and if you want to, go out there and bring a video camera, bring your friends, and make it a camping adventure. You go camp, hang out, and then you Bigfoot at night. And eventually you're going to run into something. If you go into an area where there's constantly sightings, you do your homework, you do your research like I did, you're going to find a spot where, stuff happens. And my spot is Hinobia. I have 2 extra diary entries that I'm going to enter, one from Washington State where I had one little encounter, and one from Colorado where I had an encounter. But, you can go out there, you can do this yourself, you can have these experiences. You don't have to sit and watch it on TV and wait to be spoon-fed what's happening. And, half the people, what they see on TV, they think, oh, it's staged. Well, I'm an amateur researcher. I don't have a big television network. I have nothing to lose or gain from this. I want to share my stories because they're true and honest, and it's real. I know this thing is real. It's out. I want to catch it. And you can use this as a chance to hopefully find some inspiration to go out there and find it for yourself. So I highly recommend doing that. If you can't make it to Honobia, Oklahoma, maybe because you don't live close by, that's fine. I mean, there's plenty in the Northwest, California, Oregon, Washington,
Colorado has some good spots. Ohio, I mean Florida, anywhere. So, anyways, this expedition I went for this time was, I mean, just blew up my expectations out of the water. I mean, I wish I would have saved that rock, and that next time I'll make sure I have all that done and make sure I do what I need to do next time to hopefully bring you guys footage. But I appreciate you guys listening. I'm sorry I ran out of pictures to run. I didn't really take very many this time, but hopefully you'll be more interested in the story than the photos. So anyways, I appreciate you guys listening. You can subscribe for more, but I appreciate it, and hope to see you next time.